All right, we are back in the studio with Ken Samples of Reasons to Believe. You can find out more about Ken and the ministry at reasons.org. We're talking about his newest book, Christianity Cross-Examined. The question, Ken, for you today is, there are two types of atheists that you talk about in this new book. What are the two types of atheists?
Yeah, I'd like your listeners to kind of think about this as kind of a thought experiment. This is kind of like a paradigm or a model. I'm not saying every atheist fits neatly into these two perspectives, but I think there's something unique about these two differing types of atheists. The first atheist would be somebody who would say, "Look, I'm not really against God." If God existed, it might be a good thing. Maybe I would survive the death of my body. Maybe I could be reunited with my loved ones. But the problem is, you're talking about all these good things about God, but the problem is it's not rational. There's no rational basis for believing in God. Graham Oppy, who is, I think, a leading atheist, philosopher, Australian, I think Graham Oppy might fit into that category, where he says God is impossible. I can't consider all these good things that might come because it's just not rationally possible. That's the first type of atheist. There's another atheist that I think is in contrast very interesting. The other atheist might say something like this. They would say, no, there are reasons to consider the existence of God and even the truth of Christianity. It's not that there is no rational basis for believing in God. The problem is, I don't want that God to exist. I don't want that God butting into my life. I don't want to be forced by this all-powerful deity to do his bidding. I think Thomas Nagel probably fits that category. Tom Nagel, a philosopher of mind, longtime leading academic philosopher at New York University. Nagel, by the way, is very close friends with people like Alvin Plantinga and Richard Swinburne. And he's even said in one of his fairly recent books that it bothers him that some of the brightest people that he knows are Christians. But he thinks there's reason, but he's not attracted to that God. He is put off by that God. And that's why I thought, maybe as those of us who are interested in engaging in evangelism, in engaging in missions, who want to carry out the apologetic enterprise, we want to defend the Christian faith, I think we need to focus on maybe both of those. We need to give people good reasons why they can consider Christianity to be rational, to be logical, to be factual, consistent with science. But I think maybe we also need to talk about the goodness of Christianity, what Christianity has meant to the world, what Jesus himself, how he changed history, and maybe give people consideration that, it would be a really good thing if Christianity were true. So those are two types of atheists. Again, not every atheist fits neatly into either of those categories, but I think that maybe a Graham Oppy and Tom Nagel would fit that classification.
There was a philosophy professor that taught many of the philosophy classes I took in college, and we ended up having book wars together where he'd make me read a book and I'd make him read a book and stuff like that. And I remember I finally brought out the big gun. I said, I want you to read Alvin Plantinga. And he said, no, that man does the devil's work. So even this atheist philosopher, he was willing to read some stuff, but he didn't want to get close to the logic and reasoning of a philosopher like Plantinga. And so the logic of Christianity, the truthfulness of Christianity, the validity from an empirical standpoint is absolutely established, I believe. But I've seen, just like you have, that there are some philosophers that have a heart issue. They don't want the evidence to be true because they don't want God to be real. Well, that is a much bigger fish to fry than just the evidence. And we need to reach those people with compassion and to carry on those relationships with them so that they can see the gospel lived out in our lives as well. Hey, Ken, thank you so much. Audience, I hope you enjoyed that answer. We'll have more coming up with Ken Samples in the near future. Don't miss that.